Being an outdoor channel, we tend to do a lot of things other than just fishing. Now, granted, fishing is one of our most favorite things to do. Speaking of fishing, we just got back from a saltwater trip, and I'll post some of that here in a little bit later on in the video. But right now, we're sitting out here in the dove field checking on some birds. As you can see, we got the corn on up, praying it'll dry out here in the next month before the season comes in. But for all of y'all that like to do a little wing hunting, that's coming up real soon. Here in beginning part of September, it is knocking on the door as we speak. So this morning, before I head down to the boat shed, get ready for tomorrow's fishing trip, we're gonna go out and try to catch some stripers. Take y'all down in here shortly and show you what I'm tying on for tomorrow to go after them. Being an avid outdoorsman, looking down the rows here, some of this corn, man, y'all wouldn't believe. And I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but this corn, I promise you, I had a tape measure on some of us hitting around 10 feet tall. But just checking on things while the animals aren't in the field feeding, so don't spook them out. But just trying to find things to keep the kids enjoyed in the outdoors. Seasons like this, with deer season coming, dove season, kind of makes you feel like a kid yourself getting ready for that opening day. And man, again, I can't get over how tall this cord is. I'm gonna have to get on the ladder just to pick the corn. But yeah, back to what I was saying. A lot of this is to get the kids involved in the outdoors. It's something me and Bo like to do. I was brought up wing hunting, wing shooting, whatever you want to call it. And really enjoyed doing it. Something to pass the time when it gets too warm to get out there on that water. Like right now, we're gonna go in the morning. We're probably gonna get an hour to an hour and a half right there at daylight, maybe some schooling action. But after that, between the traffic, temperatures, fishing's kind of in its off season right now. Unless you're down on the coast, and really when we left off the coast, here I think it was last week, water temperatures would get so hot down there, the fish just really weren't wanting to bite. And basically what we did last week, had a place right down in Dunedin, Florida. It's on the north side of Clearwater, down at Stevenson's Creek. And we had a little spot down there we rented for the week. And man, we hammered the sheep sets, really nice ones. This is a handful of what we caught. Lost a lot of big ones too at the same time. I mean, we lost some good ones. And as always, the big ones get away. What we wind up doing is we found the fiddler crabs. We figured out an easy way to catch them. And maybe it's a tip to all y'all that might want to try to give it a whirl. We go down there at nighttime on the pier, and basically with just a headlamp, flashlight, sometimes we're using the cell phone lights, and you could catch all the fiddler crabs you wanted to. They were climbing up around the framework of the pier, on the pylons of the pier. And it was an easy way to catch some bait. And these sheepshead really love them. I know you can catch them on other things such as shrimp, stuff like that, but we were using little fiddler crabs. As we're heading down there to the shed, let me show you one of my little pride and joys we got going up there. They need to be fed. I hadn't fed them today. Something else that keeps me occupied with the fish when I can't actually put a hook in one. A little homemade goldfish pond. Let's see if I can get them to come up here and eat. They're not used to eating this. Oh, there they go. Got a few koi in there, and I had a handful of goldfish. The goldfish, I believe, had decided to have some young'uns. So I got about 4 or 5 more that's roaming around in there that we did not put in there. But that was one of my little side projects that I had ball. I'm kind of glad I did it. It's fun to sit out here in the evenings and feed them and watch them swim around. Made a basically called a biofilter back there. If anybody's got any questions on it, keeps the water really clear. 99.9% of the times out of the year, it stays clear. If you got any questions on it, just leave me some comments down below. But back to the sheep's head. Basically, between using the fiddler crabs, what we were using was a little split shot rig, putting a small circle hook on it, and then running. What I would run was two split shot up about 12 to 14 inches up from the hook, and then just target the structure. Target whether it been the pylons on the pier, whether it been the seawall around it, whether it been some oyster beds right near it. But man, they were killing it, and probably one of my most favorite fish out of freshwater and saltwater are those deep. I still want to try some pompano. I haven't got my hands on those yet, but I hear they're really good too. Let me get this door open and we'll go ahead and go over on what we're gonna rig up for in the morning. I apologize for the noise in the background, guys, but like I said, it's over 100 degrees and we down in this shed. It's cooking. I got a fan in the background right there. And it's gonna make a little wind noise. But back to what I was saying, we are going after stripers in the morning. Haven't been out on the lake probably now in a couple weeks. Hearing some rumors that they are schooling first thing in the morning, but it is being a right at daylight thing. So to beat the heat, thank goodness it's right in the first thing in the morning. But also to be able to catch some fish right now. Lake Murray runs a limit to where you catch your first 5 fish you have to keep, whether it be small, whether it be big, and it's just due to the lack of oxygen in the water, the heat of the water, the fight these fish put up. They tend not to make it if you try to release them. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a turnover, but it's one of those things that where it's better just to keep them and take them home, have some good table fare, put them in the freezer and save them for a cool evening, throw them in some grease and have a good old fish fry, invite some friends over. Can't get no better than that. Probably first and foremost, first bait I'm gonna have tied on is gonna be this old Zara spook. I'm not gonna do it because it's got too many hooks on it, but you can see it right here. It's just old rainbow colored, super spook. Now that's gonna be one of the number one things. One, for the distance that I can throw it. If the school's right there way out in front of us, I can get the length out of that bait. I can throw it really far. Secondly, let me jump in the boat. It's gonna be these big old flutter spoons. And I've got a video already posted on these flutter spoons. Basically, we'll run a leader from the eyelet right here, and we'll run up about 12 inches to a swivel because these things flutter. Exactly what the name says. They get in the water and they twist and flop and flutter, and they will twist your line all the devil. But that right there, color-wise, as long as it's flashy. I don't get real fancy on the color of those. Next, and while I'm in this box, see if I can get one out here without getting the finger in my phone while I'm doing all this. Bear with me for 1 minute. Next, what I like to throw is just a little lead spoon. A lot of these are for if you're out there and you get on. I think that's a Sudeth, but Barry makes a good bumping spoon. All these are about a ½ ounce. There's a bunch of different companies that make them, and any of them will work. But what they're for is if you're out there and you're on a school and you see the school out there in front of you, you're looking down at your depth finders, and the school happens to come up underneath the boat, that is a good bait to drop straight down on them. You can work it through the water column. The flutter spoon works, it doesn't get down as fast. So if they're just cruising up underneath you really quick, that lead spoon does a really good job as far as getting on them, getting you down where the fish are, whether that's 10, 15, 20 feet, and you can get them up. And I'm not gonna say it's the last thing I'm gonna throw, but it is one of the essentials. It's gonna be your standard fluke. And I'll run between this albino color and more of this shad color. I really like to throw these, especially if fish are coming up. You see them blowing up on top water. You got the spook, keep that. And a lot of times you can draw some good strikes from it. But if they start getting a little bit conditioned to the spook, that fluke can be thrown in there and you can draw some extra strikes. Help you catch a couple extra fish, have a little more fun with it. All right, guys and gals, let me get all these things tied up, get them on for in the morning. I gotta check the oil and the old mercury back here, see where we're at on the gas level, because like I said, I ain't been out in the boat in a couple weeks now. And we will bring y'all along tomorrow morning, see if we can get on some stripers and have a little fun, kind of show you what we're targeting, how we're targeting them. These stripers should be out off these points and on these humps. The bait fish are out there, they should be out there, but we'll find out in the morning. Y'all stay tuned. We'll catch you on the lake.